I'd like you to take a moment to think back to somebody in your past that's had a massive impact on you. And I want you to think about people that you see have been influential or in a leadership role with or without a title. And I would love you to think about what are the qualities that those people have or that person has. And chances are one of the qualities that you will list is authenticity. Authenticity, if we have a look at it, if we are really proud of who we are, that we are really centered into who we are, what we stand for, and we're really proud of that, then what we put forward to everybody else around us is true authenticity, something that people can really, really connect with. Now, authenticity and authentic leadership is what Sarah and I are going to take you through on the next 5-part series. Now, in this 5-part series, we're going to have a look and deep dive into what do you stand for? And we're going to help you find what is your unique factor there. And then in episode 3, we're going to have a look at your reputation. Now, reputation is always a fascinating one because, of course, it's what people say about you when you're not in your room. And because it goes before you, but because it's behind you and it's everywhere, and chances are where you're not, we're going to share with you practical hacks that will actually create more observation and more alertness around your reputation. And we're going to share you hacks that you can actually put in place to make sure you shape the reputation that you want to enable you to achieve the goals that you set for yourself. And then in episode 4, we're then going to have a look about how do we actually lead differently. And we're going to share with you tips and hacks on how do you actually pivot to lead differently to get the best out of others. And then we're going to finish off with something that we're very, very passionate about as well, but it just links this all together. And that's having a look at a model that we've created on culture and performance matrix.
So what we thought we'd kick into today was actually just looking at, well, what is authentic leadership? And there are loads and loads of responses around what authentic leadership is. But what it really does come down to is the honest relationships that we create with people who truly value our inputs. And they're also built on those ethical foundations. And so what that means is often when we're being authentic, we're acting in that positive and truthful manner. And we've got a real strong sense of awareness for ourselves. And we also are very big on promoting awareness. And there's a neat model, I guess, that I found that I thought would be really useful to share with you. And it just has these generally accepted terms around what authentic leadership looks like. And it's just broken into 4 really lovely to understand areas. And the first is around something I've already mentioned, and it's that being self-aware and genuine. And so this is, in essence, that we are the same person in private as we are in public. So there's no differentiation between how we're communicating, what we're doing, and how we're behaving, no matter what the circumstances are. The second area is around being mission driven and focused on results. So it's being able to really articulate the goals ahead of areas of self-interest. So you go ahead and you do the job in pursuit of achieving those results, and it's not about my self-interest and what I'm going to get out of it. So it's not about my ego and my role I play. It's about bringing other people along so we can achieve those results, which links really nicely to the third area, which is around being heart-driven. And that's around being able to act and be vulnerable with the people around you. And yes, that includes employees. And vulnerability is not soft, but it's actually being able to be empathetic when you're communicating highly critical information that might not be something that somebody necessarily wants to hear. And it's being able to do that without being cruel, because we're able to be empathetic in the way that we're communicating that information. And the fourth area is around that focus on the long term. And so you've probably guessed what that means, but it's around not taking those steps to achieve either those monthly or quarterly results at the expense of those long-term objectives. So we're really thinking ahead about what those long-term objectives look like, and we're not going to sacrifice or take those shortcuts to get those shifts in the short term that mean we're not going to hit those long-term objectives. And so when we think about authentic leadership, I guess the next logical question is, well, why is it relevant? Why is it important that we're acting in an authentic manager? And it comes down to some really simple fundamentals. And it's around the genuineness of the connections that we're creating with everybody that we're interacting with. You know, when we think about culture in the workplace, it all comes down to that sense of belonging and direction, and feeling like we're part of something and on a journey. And so when we have a really strong, authentic leadership, it sends clear signals as well out to everyone around us about who we are and how we represent ourselves. And it becomes a fundamental part of our personal brand.
It's interesting, isn't it, really? When you think about leadership and you say that word leadership, people automatically think about leaders with a title. And that is one type of leadership, is a leader that actually has authority. But there's also a second and a third. And so the second one are managers that have got leadership traits, that are leading and managing at the same time. And the third type, and that is people that are actually authentically and naturally leading. And if you look around you, I'm sure there'll be lots of people in your life, people that have been in your life, that actually are natural leaders. You don't need an official business title to be an amazing leader. And if anything, I must say that some of the best leaders I've ever seen never had a title. And so what I'd love to share with you now is just an activity, because to really spotlight authenticity, what we want to do is really sharpen your observation skills as well as your self-awareness skills. So in the next episodes, we're going to spotlight you, but what I'd like to do is give you an activity now that's actually going to spotlight people around you at the moment. And what that action is, and grab a pen, and that is, I'd like you to list 3 to 5 people that you currently admire or aspire to. So that's 3 to 5. Now, what I'd love you to do for each one of those people is actually then to identify 5 traits for each one of those people that you feel are their standout traits, things that absolutely are their pots of gold, their unique factors. And so once you've got all of those factors in place, so 3 to 5 people, listing 5 traits for each person. And don't worry, you don't have to do this all at once. You just can actually identify the people, start working on one person, look for a second, third person, and keep adding to that list. Now, once you've got all of this information down, what I'd love you to do then is actually just lay out those pieces of paper and circle what are the common traits and what are the similarities between those people. And when you do this type of exercise, this is really good for you to identify who are the people and what are the traits that you aspire to. What is their authenticity that they're bringing to the table that makes them a standout person to you?
So we hope you've enjoyed this first episode around authentic leadership, and you've got a really great understanding about what it is, why it's important, and that fabulous exercise that Kirsten's just shared with you around identifying those people around you and the traits that they've got. And one challenge we could offer, just to take it one step further, where you see those traits, actually take an opportunity to look at those key traits that those people have, reflect them back to how you see yourself. And if there's something you can do differently, what does that look like? Join us next week, where we're going to take you on a journey to help you understand what you stand for.